What is up? Amazon, Walmart, Target, Etsy, eBay, Instacart, Temu, Alibaba. I'm missing one. Party people. My name is John Aspinall. We're back with another episode, weekly episodes, every week, every Thursday at noon Eastern time with the PickFu podcast. This week, we're talking about always be testing and always be pricing. How testing pricing, testing elements, testing creatives, testing. You always want to be testing for everything, right? And you always want to have the proper price. It's very strategic with that kind of stuff. So I'm a little bit of the guru goatee when it comes to clicks, getting those clicks, the CTR, what's compelling. But I brought another guru on with me. And what was your name again, sir?
My name is Babul, John. You definitely know me. But really nice to be here. Really, thanks for having me, man. Excited to be the other guru on this two guru podcast here today.
So you're okay. Hold on, let me open my. This is Red Bull for anyone. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's not here. It's not 5 o'clock here. This is a Red Bull. But I'm a little bit envious, right? So I'm brand evangelist, and you're chief evangelist.
Yeah.
What's that like?
It's chiefly.
It's chiefly. You feel very C-suite level kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly, right. But I think we do one and the same, right? How do we effectively tell people about or talk to people about the problems that they have within the space and different ways that both of our brands can help solve for them.
And what is your brand? Because I don't see any swag. I'm going to be speaking.
I changed it up a little bit today. I was like, you know what? I wear the swag on every single one. I feel like I just have a uniform all the way through here. But
this shirt is sewn on to me. As a matter of fact,
I thought that was just a permanent tat.
I'm a Build-A-Bear, right? Build an evangelist, and this is kind of I'm stuffed, and this is you squeeze me too hard, and I'll just A/B test, right?
Yeah.
But
don't free credits just come out?
Free credits. I can't tell you which end they come out of, but they come out.
Yeah, exactly.
But for people that don't know Trellis. Tell us a little bit more about what Trellis does. They already know about PickFu. We're going to get into like testing and that kind of cool stuff. But tell people about Trellis.
Yeah, Trellis is an advertising and pricing automation platform. We look at the 4 Ps. What we believe we look at price, placement, product, and promotion as kind of the 4 drivers that optimize towards the demand side of driving revenue on Amazon. And it's all about profitability, right? If you optimize against those 4, you'll be able to drive profitability pretty well for your brand. And so we're in the business helping brands, helping agencies get to that point of profitability, leveraging our platform, leveraging our software, leveraging our automation, leveraging our AI, and leveraging the good people that we have supporting all of them in the office here too.
And I think that's interesting, right? Because a lot of folks, they think, I don't want to say a lot of folks, I'll just say some folks think that the lower the price, the better the sales. And that from a sales velocity perspective, right? Yeah, that kind of makes sense, but you don't always want it to be a race to the bottom. And I know a lot of people in the space, I'm not going to name them. There's some of your competitors, I won't name them. But they talk about how price is increase price or strategically move around your price, right? To become more profitable. So talk to me a little bit more about that and how you guys are seeing like a trend with that, right? Because I could talk, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about, testing and creatives and stuff. A really cool thing I want to show you about testing, using PickFu to test your advertising creatives to make sure that it's compelling enough to get the click, that you're not having ad cannibalization and ACOS goes up, tacos go up, and you're like, why am I not getting, the clicks that I need? But tell me a little bit more about what you guys are seeing as far as like trends in the space and like increasing price. Is that a good thing to increase price?
Well, I think it comes down to, and this is the part that, like, if we look at pricing in isolation, if we look at price just as a vehicle, like, right, price is a vehicle, but it's more about what the strategy is for the business, right? That you as a brand have different things that come up at different points, whether it be, I got inventory that I need to pay for, or, hey, my certain products, like I have too much inventory on hand as well, right? Or too little inventory on hand. Right. And I've done a whole thing about sell-through rates before, and subtle nod towards that. If you want to see it, hit me up. But the strategy that you want to run really indicates whether or not and how you should change your price, right? So but the bottom line should be that, are you profitable, right? And I think that really right now, and as many brands as I do talk to, it's just fear, right? Like changing their price for them because is just the fear of the unknown, that, well, I'm comfortable with the devil that I have in front of me right now. I'm
Yeah.
comfortable at this price point. If I do something inadvertently, it'll impact my BSR, it'll impact my sales velocity, it'll impact eventually what they're really scared about is their bottom line.
Yeah.
Right?
And they're leaving money on the table by being scared.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So if you're looking at, like, everyone talks about day parting, right? As far as like when to run ads and stuff like that. I know you had mentioned when we were at a show not too long ago, week parting or something. You said something, right? Like it was not so much day parting, but a little bit different.
I think it's a matter, like, if we look at the advertising side of it, when you look at day parting, you go hour by day, fine, right? But weekday parting is a little bit more interesting, right? Where a lot of the trends, if you zoom out just a little layer above that and start saying, well, hour over hour is great, we support that as well. But if you look at day over day, right? If I'm looking at an office product category, an office product, and looking at that category, a lot of purchases happen on Monday and Tuesday, right? People come into the office, realize they run stock, they say, okay, I'm out of paper, or I'm out of staples, whatever it may be. And you start seeing a lot of the sales will come in on Monday and Tuesday, tailor off, and then be almost non-existent on the weekends there as well. And so if you look at weekday parting and the way that we look at it and also run it, it's how do you optimize your budget and spend more on the days that are converting better for you, and spend less on the days that are converting worse for you, right? That when there is people in the market.
That's really, like, it comes down to, I know you're giving like a general answer, but I think it comes down to like the product too, right? Like exactly. If you're selling something that's an office supply on the weekends, no one's really looking to I could be wrong. There may be, office supply people.
Yeah, it's lower sales
right now,
Yeah, and it'll be lower sales, right? And like there's a lot of categories that this kind of starts running true for. And you can actually look at your own data and see where your sales are coming in on day over day, and take the same budget but just allocate it differently, right? Say that I'm going to put more budget on the Monday or Tuesday, or I'm going to put more budget on the Wednesday or Thursday. I'm going to put more budget on the Friday or Saturday, and for a lot of categories as well. Thursday, Friday, Saturday are big buying days, interestingly enough, right? So it's the weekday parting side is definitely apt. And then couple that with a nice pricing strategy, and all of a sudden you're starting to impact your conversion rate, right? So you're starting to get your clicks, you're starting to get your conversions, and you got to A/B test your creatives there as well, right? To actually get there.
You got to do more than A/B test, dude. And that's kind of what I wanted to show over here, right?
Okay.
So big visual guy. Is that a Red Bull too? What do you got? Oh, this is sponsored by Red Bull. This whole entire podcast.
Sugar free. Sugar free. Yeah.
Sugar free is the way to go. Listen, I'm not trying. I lost 100 pounds. I'm not trying to gain it back from Red Bull.
Oh man, I'm down 25 right now.
You gotta catch up. Got
to catch up.
But looking at this, right? Let me zoom in, because sometimes people can't really see, because I don't know. Maybe they're boomers. Maybe they're old. I don't know. Just kidding. But this is a click test on PickFu, right? So historically, most folks will think of PickFu as kind of this over here, A versus not this one, A versus B, right? This or that. That's what most folks will think of when they hear split testing. But testing is a lot more detailed than that, right? And this is a good example, right? So based on the image for the search detangling brush, which would you rather click and why? Yeah. So I took a simple screenshot of the SERP results on Amazon for a detangling brush. This is important for a lot of different reasons. I keep going back to this example. I need to run another SERP click test to get people getting sick of looking at detangling brushes, but it's really important, right? Yeah. Because you see this guy here, he's 2 in these crazy colors for $5.99, but only getting 1 click, right? Mm-hmm. This guy here is almost double the price for 1 and getting more clicks. So if you were looking at this for a lot of different reasons, looking to get into detangling hairbrush space, if you're this guy over here, if you're this guy over here looking to do different colors, this is giving you the data on what you need to know about why people are clicking or why they're not clicking. So you would think that for 2 of them, hell, $5.99, I'll take it. And the data shows otherwise. So if I highlight this, I go down here, it's more traditional. I don't like the crazy colors. It's more professional. You know, they are associating quality with color.
Yeah.
When in reality, this is the exact same product. This is a very commoditized Me Too product that people are just slapping their logo on.
Yeah.
So you can also see in a click test where they're clicking. So you see a lot of the clicks on this one are on the packaging. So if you're not showing the packaging behind your product in the main hero image, people like to see that because that's giving you areas of branding, merchandising, putting exactly what it is, you know, detail. I don't think anyone, I'm blind, I don't think anyone put on the box over here detangling hairbrush when that's the biggest value prop you want to show, if indeed that's what it is. The reason I show this, you know, and from an ad tool perspective, right, like for Trellis, if these were sponsored product ads, right, and this was a client and they're not getting clicks, so they're going to come to you and say, Ali, why am I not getting click? Well, this is the data that's going to show why people are clicking here and here, right? Versus running with it and just kind of guessing. You want to test before you invest. That's another tattoo that I'm getting on my back.
Yeah, I like that one too. I think that one's interesting, right? You have like the multi-pack there that is significantly more cost effective, but it has a couple things running against it, to your point, right? Like you look at their review count as well. As much as people are still buying it, the review count's a little bit lower. And I think that people are also aware of I don't often want to buy the cheapest thing. There's a perceived lack of value there as a result of that, right? There's that psychological principle, right? Everything in thirds, people will always go for the middle one where they don't want to spend too much, but they don't want to be cheap and get the other side of it too. And so they'll always kind of fall in the middle there. And so by being the lowest price on this page, really what's ended up happening is you're creating an anchor for people not to buy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And content aside, I actually don't think that image does justice. And you can actually like the single pack there to the right. Part of the reason that's getting more clicks is because it's kind of in your face. I can see the tangles. I can see the bristles, and I can see how it actually impact.
Yeah. Angle's a big thing too. Angle, front. So this one got a lot of clicks. Exact same product. Exact same Me Too commoditized product. But people liking that you could see the angle over here. So how would I make this better, right? Well, I would do a black one and I would show multiple angles and I would put a box, right? So I would take a little bit from everyone and make it like the monster Frankenstein version. That's good. I just noticed down here, here's a 3-pack that includes the black one.
Yeah. Yeah. How many clicks did that one get?
One,
right? Yeah.
And it includes the black one. And even if you just wanted the black one and threw away the other 2 ones, it's still cheaper than this one. But people don't care because the colorway is sending people to the hills screaming, no, thank you.
That's it. Also, again, the reviews are going to be impactful here too, right? Like 3.6 at 899 only reinforces this like cheapness to me, or like this isn't going to be good bang for my buck, irrespective of the price point being something I'd be willing to pay for a multi-pack too, right? And so I think the image absolutely, I think price is going to be really important as well. But I'd be curious to see, and actually running these tests in here, is that imagine putting both your products, right? Put a different brand name, 2 different images, or even the same image, and then putting 2 different prices.
Yeah.
Right.
So I do a lot of that, right? We don't have the tool baked out yet. I will say yet.
Okay.
Where you're able to kind of change pricing and stuff like that. So a simple tool like if you use a Mac, for example. So let's say I'm looking under a copper sleeve, right? And let's say I was looking at this here, right? I'll just grab this SERP snapshot. A tool like CleanShot, when I'm doing the grab over here, allows me to go over here, and maybe I don't want to show people the reviews. I'll just blur it out like that, right? And just kind of redact it in a little bit of an organic way, so people still seeing like the add to cart coloring, and they understand that it's Amazon and stuff like that. Maybe I don't want to show that, or maybe I do want to show the reviews but not the price, or maybe I want to show the price but maybe not like coupons or anything.
Sweet.
Like yeah, so there's a lot of things you can do until certain tools get buttoned up and launch really cool stuff soon. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah. I think when you start looking at something like this, you're saying, okay, well, what are the different tests that I can run, right? Like an A/B test you have to have one constant. So now you have image and image, right? One hero image against another hero image. and then run that test, see which one people would prefer. Now throw the price on there and which one would people prefer, right? And then the question becomes, well, what's the price that I'm testing at? Because I feel that right now, a lot of people tend to go down the path of, I'll just discount it by, a couple bucks or like
Yeah.
10%. And it's just like, work, like just whatever number comes to my mind at this point in time. I'm going to try and do that. And, I'm still making a bit of money on that. So I'm okay with it. But if you start thinking about, well, what's the data-based approach for me to evaluate different price points and price points that I'm willing to accept, again, based on strategy of mine, right? Then you start being able to have an informed opinion on that, right? And so for us, we look at price elasticity of demand, right? So the relationship of the number of units you'll sell to the price point that you're selling at. Right?
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's price is key, right? Like you have to,
and then test that out.
yeah. Like what I tell people a lot is when you're testing with like PickFu, for example, you're doing a SERP result test like this, and then you're taking the factors here, and then you're drilling it down further into like an A/B test, and then you're trying to iterate further on what works, and then you're doing a click test again by putting this back into the SERP click test, and now seeing if your new iteration is going to get more clicks based on that. So it's probably like a 3 or 4 stage kind of testing process. So SERP,
broad to specific, right? Like it's getting more and more tailored. And so I think that there's a couple misconceptions people have with A/B testing or testing as a whole is that, well, I only need to run it once, or I only need to same with price or anything like that. I only need to do it once and then I have my information. It's like, well, actually, that's not really an accurate test, right? With price and the example you gave on content, it's like, okay, SERP to actual, let's look at, the top performing ones along with ours, start whittling it down, and you have like 3 or 4 tests that feed off of each other. It's the same thing with price too, right? Like it's, okay, well, I'm going to raise it by, 3%. I'm going to lower it by 3%. I'm going to raise it by 5, lower it by 5 or whatnot. But you're keeping the other variables consistent to really start honing in as to what's going to get me that click, but ultimately what's going to get me that conversion too, right? That the click is half the battle. The conversion is the other half.
So like the SQP, where it's like impressions, clicks, add to carts, purchases, right?
Yeah,
you got to be seen, you got to get clicks, you got to be compelling to add to cart for the conversion. And the purchase, that's the one thing once they add to cart, your job is done. You're just hoping that they actually purchase it and stuff like that, right?
Exactly, right? And ideally, they're going straight to buy now, right? It's just I need this, I want to buy this immediately, right?
Totally.
And that's you got to be tracking against the entire conversion funnel, right? And you tell me, John, have you seen examples where you'll get clicks but no conversions?
So you get clicks and no conversions. So if you get clicks and no conversions, then we're looking at the PDP, the product detail page, right? We're looking to see, okay, are you saying what's compelling enough about this product to make the purchase? Was your main hero image compelling, and then it fell flat when you got to the PDP, where you're not talking about benefits over features, you're not talking about who's using it, you're not talking about the value prop. So a good main image will only get you so far. Once they land on the PDP, if you have a blank page, it's not going to help. Right? As great as the product is, as great as it's priced out to be, it can be super aggressive or inline or premium, whatever it is. But if the PDP is not talking about showing the avatar, showing why it's helping them live a happier, better life, smiling, happy faces, all that kind of stuff, you're not going to get the conversion. So you get a lot of impressions, you get a lot of clicks, and not a lot of add to carts and not a lot of conversions. And that's when coming in and optimizing your listing is going to help. And I say all the time, premium A+ content is not the gospel be all, end all, save all for everything, right? It has to be. I've seen standard A+ content that blows premium A+ content out of the water. Yes, it doesn't have full width, it doesn't have embedded video, it doesn't have carousels, but I've seen premium A+ content that's had all it has is an embedded video and a carousel below it. And I don't click on videos on Amazon. I don't shop and click on videos. I'm not going to click on a video for a $10 ice cream scoop. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah.
So if you're not telling me, to me, those are barriers or friction points in the way of someone clicking purchase and clicking add to cart. So yes, videos are nice. Yes, carousels are nice, but if they're not engaging and compelling, and you're also seeing the same information in the video or carousel outside of them, and the video or carousel is not just adding to the experience, then it's a lost opportunity, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that, like, to your point, whether you have like the premium A+ or even like just a basic PDP there, like it's are you hitting the pain points that the customer is shopping for? right? And if they, as long as they see it, they'll buy it, right? Like there's a higher chance that they'll buy it. And so the quality of the content, great A+ content, premium content. There's that whole new kind of like full store experience. I think that you were talking about earlier this week as well. Yes, it captivates more. Yes, it's more in your face. But at the end of the day, if I'm not seeing that this is actually like the detangling hairbrush, if on that PDP page there's nowhere that says detangling, I'm actually not sure if I'm going to buy it, right? Like
Because it's a checkpoint. It's a checks and balances, right? Like you've sold me on this. When I land on the PDP, I'm looking at the image. I'm looking at the title to verify what it is. I'm typically not looking at bullet points. And if I do go below the fold, I'm looking for people with long hair that are having problems, us versus them, why you're better. Self-awareness in the space is key. Where, if your other competitors are inferior because you have a better product, you can call that out and say us versus them. Don't say their name brand, but just say us versus typical product, typical hairbrush, typical this and that, because that makes you self-aware in the space and understand, oh, okay, the customer is understanding that what else is out there and why you're better than that.
Especially in a highly competitive space, right? Like even I'm going to keep coming back to this hairbrush example because now you got it stuck in my head. But there's so many products that are pretty much the exact same. Really, the difference there is images and price, right? And now when you're in this competitive nature, you actually have to provide that you have to make sure that you're hitting all of it. And so it could be detangler, it could be aesthetic, it's so many variables that someone's looking for. And how do you make sure you're listening to what your customer is saying? Like, read your reviews, right? Like that's such a big driver. All your positive reviews will say all the good things about your product. And there might be things in there that you don't even know you had before, right? Like it's that you weren't even talking about.
I love that. And one thing I hate reading reviews. I'm going to go to Amazon real quick and I'll just type in, let's say creatine gummies, for example, right?
Yeah.
I love this Jungle Scout plugin. Now, I'm tool agnostic. I love Jungle Scout. I love Helium 10. I love Data Dive. I love Smart Scout. I'm trying to run down the list of people that I love. But
you got to throw our Chrome extension in that mix too.
Okay, well then you got to get me access. So
yeah, it's free. It's free for everyone.
Oh, well, free. If it's free, it's for me. But I like this because when we're talking about coming specific to reviews, I like that I can go here and generate an analysis on reviews where the AI is going to crawl the 456 reviews and give me the sentiment from this, right? Where it's like, okay, what do they like? What do they don't like? How can you make it better? To me, that's game changer, right? Because I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to read all these reviews and stuff like that. But I want the data, especially if I'm going to be doing a product myself or trying to figure out how I can make mine better, right? So
it's pretty funny how you end up using a lot of these tools, as much as they're like for making your brand better or your product stand out. I use these tools the same way, as to actually analyze the products that I want to buy.
Yeah, dude, I'm like, I don't want to read all those reviews. I'll use a tool like that and just you tell me why it sucks. I'm not looking for someone to tell me why it's good. I'm looking for I'm the pessimist. I go to the 1-star reviews first. I want to hear why people hate the product first, because I already am compelled to like it. So I don't want other people saying, rah, it's good. I want to hear why people don't like it, what they don't like about it, where I can say as a consumer, yeah, I agree. Or I could be like, nah, it's not a big deal to me. That doesn't deserve a 1-star. That's not going to sway my purchasing decision and stuff like that.
I'm in a similar boat where I'll look at the 1-stars first, and I'll also sort them by date. Right. I think that I've seen this from brands as well. And people talked about this too, where it's like, hey, like our first version of this product kind of sucked a little bit. We got a bunch of bad reviews. We updated it and like they're kind of buried there too. And so I'll look at date, like knowing that I'll look at date, say, okay, well, when did these come in? Like it was one from last week. All right, I'm gonna give it some credence and actually see what's going on. But at the same time, like the ratio towards it is equally as valuable, right? That if for every one bad review, there's 5 good reviews. You start going down this decision criteria. And if we take it like a macro lens at what we're talking about, every consumer has their own decision criteria, right? And so what they feel to be true, how they evaluate the products they're going to buy, how they feel comfortable buying the products they're going to buy, how they get excited about the products that they're going to buy. And it all comes down to, as brands to capitalize on that, is, can I get the eyeballs to the product to help sway their decision, or to help show them this is the product that they're looking for and that they should be buying, right? That's where you look at your ads, you look at your, you look at any type of placement, your sponsored ads, your DSP, et cetera, et cetera. And then you start looking at the next piece there being, well, okay, well, I got it in front of their eyes. Now, is this something that I want to click on? Is this something that's compelling for them to click on? And we start looking at your hero image, your title, right? You start looking at your price, you start looking at promotions, right? That, if there's a exact same product right beside each other, one with a coupon is going to get clicked on just by sheer nature of the fact there's decoration, even though coupon redemption rates suck, right? Like people will still get that click. So then you start looking at ads, you look at content, you're looking at a promotion and a price, and it's all four of those things will get you that initial click. Then you start looking at your PDP. People will dive into the reviews, exactly what we just talked about. Why is it good? Why is it bad? Let me read the additional content that's there as well, my A+ content. And am I still comfortable with the price to hit that add to cart or hit that buy now, right? So you end up going down every single step of the funnel here, and brands need to understand what their consumers are looking for at those steps, right? That how are they making these decisions that allow that, and understanding that will allow the brand to actually say, well, this is how we're going to bridge that gap and solve for that at every single step of the way, whether it be the right keywords to get in front of from an ads perspective, being competitive with price as well, right? Choosing the right hero image, choosing the right copy, the right content. And that's going to be like, it's the mix of all four of these things that gets you to that profitable point.
Yeah.
And that's the curious part for me, is that for every brand, it's different. For every category is different. And that's what keeps it super exciting, at least why I love the space so much.
Well, you just gave me an idea to do a PickFu test after the stream, because now I'm curious. So I want to do a PickFu on a product, same product, head to head, this or that. $10 no coupon, right? Or $13 with a $3 off coupon badge next to it. And I'm curious to see which one people resonate with more to have those data-driven decisions. Because people always ask me a lot, is it better to be a low price, inclusive, no coupon, or be a higher price with a coupon to get that additional kind of decoration and badging? And I never know what to tell people. I'm always inclined, like when I see coupons, like the little green icon, my eye gravitates towards that. And I'm always like, ooh, interesting. Whether it's a deal or not, that kind of gets my first glance attention, which is kind of cool. But definitely something I want to PickFu for sure.
Yeah, I've seen some. There's a couple brands that I work with. They're leveraging our platform dynamic pricing side there as well, and they've never actually sold at their list price. They just don't believe it. They've tried it before, and by always having a strike through price and their price always relatively discounted, they're able to drive a significant amount of sales.
Give me an idea of like that category without telling me the client's name. Give me some.
It was it's in the gym category, so it's like resistance bands.
Oh, resist! Oh my god, that is the most super saturated category I've ever heard of.
Yeah, and they're killing it.
Yeah, so if you go down here, right, we're looking at, okay, so list 35, that kind of slash we're talking about, right? So versus this guy here, $14.97 with a coupon, right? Or versus this slash through on the list price, and then additionally having a coupon. So we're talking, that's interesting.
Right. So now let's look at that top line. Which one would you click on? We have four different prices. We have five different prices. Everyone's priced a little bit differently. I'd argue
which one would I click on? So the first thing, it's going to go to the visuals, right? So initially I'm going to the guy using it, and then I'm going to come down to the pricing. I'm like, oh, okay, it's a little expensive, right? And then I'm going to come across the pricing and see, and then this price point grabs me, right? And then I look up here and I'm like, and then I go back over here and see. Odds are, right? Then I would go back up to reviews, and then I'll look and see in something like this. Oh, it's 100 plus. Not so much for that kind of price. If I'm going to be cheap about it, I'd rather go with the one that's 20K with the monster reviews, right, for $9.99, because it has more reviews and more of an increase in price. But then I'll go back up here and I'll see it's a woman using it and I'm a guy. So then this is going to compel me to be more macho. And if this guy's using it, and then it also says the resistant, poundage up here. So I don't know. I would either go one of two ways with something like this. I would either say screw it, and I don't care that it's a woman there. I could do the same thing, even though she's not doing the exercise I want to do. I'll go this route, or I'll go the more expensive one because that's my ICP and avatar that relates to me.
So if you look at it, your decision criteria across all of these are really the cheapest price product and the second highest product, second price highest product,
Yeah.
right? And couple that with your evaluation across the creative, across the headlines, right? And
Yep.
it so really, if either one was priced, let's say the one on the left, the one with the female was priced at even $13.99, $14.99, would you still click it?
Yes.
Right? At what point would you say no?
If it was if this one was closer in pricing to this too much, I would go with this one.
Exactly, because it hit your avatar more, it fit with all the other variables stay true then.
Yeah.
So for in this use case, in this scenario, you would have easily clicked that at $15.99 or $16.99 as well.
100%. Like if this I think the threshold for me to click on this would be $19.99.
Yeah.
I think at a price point of $19.99 with this amount of units sold, if they were to raise their price, right, at this kind of volume that they're already doing, I don't see. But then again, we're talking about the first row for sponsored. We're not talking about if I start to go into organic, it's going to be an influx of a lot of different people where I'd be like, oh, okay, if I'm going to go with someone that's not my avatar, well, this one's 1188 and stuff like that. But if we're only looking at this one up here, and if they keep within this kind of vacuum and raise their price on this, I would purchase this one up until $19.99. I think once it hits over $20,
You go for the other one.
that's $6 away from something that's resonating with me a little bit more.
And that's the interesting part here is that for something that resonates with you even more, you're willing to sufficiently pay 33%, 30% in like higher price if it was at $19.
If it was at $19, yeah, I would.
Right. And so how do you figure this out though? Right. How do you figure what is your optimal price in market every day? Right. Like in your scenario, you would have gone up to $20 and the one that you actually want to get the $26.99 one. Let's be real here.
In reality, right? So forget about a pricing perspective. If they were just to swap their creatives and show a guy doing this, I would have slam dunked bought it at $9.99.
Yeah, right. And so there's the
not being sexist. I'm the shopper. I'm the avatar. I'm the one that's buying it, right? I could see in a flip end if it was a female that's buying it. Of course, she's not going to buy one that like a ripped guy is doing it because it doesn't resonate with her. So, but then talking back about this one, right? 26 versus 29. Both avatars, I like the fact that they're multicolored. Why do I like the fact that they're multicolored? Is because I can tell the difference based on the color for the strength and the whatever the poundage and that kind of thing. So that's another thing you'd want to test with like PickFu is like if you're sourcing a product, do I want to source multicolor or black? Well, black is doing 1,000 units, multicolor is doing 8,000 units just in this example alone. There's a reason why, and especially because they're very close in price, right? So there's no real value prop. Actually, there is a value prop because the black one has a higher strength. So it's up to 145 versus 125. But is that enough for me to make a change and pay $3 more? Probably not.
But I think that that wasn't even a consideration factor for you.
Yeah.
Right now, we've talked about this for 5 minutes now, and now you're at the point of saying, okay, well, let me really scrutinize it and see what would it take for me to buy this, and would it make me want to go there? When you're shopping for it, all of the things we first talked about, you're going to do in like 30 seconds. Click on one, go back, click on the other, make a call, move on, especially if you want it.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think the big takeaway with this is these guys over here, and I'm going to click on their sponsored link. Sorry about that.
You just made someone's lifetime much harder. Just impact their KPIs.
And they're not China direct. That's a good thing to know, right? So a lot of people think it's China direct with a lot of this stuff. It's not. I mean, given they may have a warehouse in Southern California, and it may be coming from China. It's definitely coming from China, right? But it's not China direct. A lot of people think it's always China direct. So, it's just really, you could even see in the brand ads. See, I refreshed it, right, and that one is gone. The guy with my avatar is gone, and it's all women up here, right? So now we're at a different kind of situation where I'm looking at these, and that $26.99 price point's gone. And if I'm looking just at these, well, she's doing more of a exercise. I'm not saying this isn't an exercise, but she looks like she's just kind of dancing. You know what I mean? So then it goes back to the creative. It goes back to price point. Hey, $9.99 versus $9.99. These guys are 20,000 units sold, and these monster reviews. There's no chance I'm buying this product right here. They don't even stand a chance. So it's not like they would raise their pricing. If anything, you have to lower your pricing or increase your value prop, because there's no value prop really in this image. I can't even see what all the way down here. I'm willing to bet this is China direct. I could be wrong. Nope, I win.
Yeah, there you
go. So China's trying to compete not on price with this one when they can be, right? Because if it's China direct, their prices.
They have the ability to. But what's
$1? I'm willing to bet $1, maybe even less, as a landed
but
cost.
What's interesting here, at two products priced the exact same, right? And again, content might be a little bit different, but you're seeing more value in the number of people that have bought. Arguably, seeing that green, save $2 is valuable to you as well, right? It's when you start comparing these two, and you say, well, why would you pay 20 to $6 now?
Yeah.
Right.
Did you notice this change too? Whereas if I was in ARC, for example,
it'll be different.
Yeah. So what happens sometimes, they're playing with the system where sometimes they'll show the percent of the star rating, and sometimes they won't. So right now they're not showing the percent. They're making you hover over it to see. But sometimes Amazon's peppering in where they'll show you, like, right off the rip, this is 4.4 out of 5.
I do think that a lot of that is their own testing as well, to see, like, they showed you the same product in the first position now when you went back to it. Right. And
so if I refresh it again, right, let's refresh again.
Yeah.
Well, let me just do resistance bands, because I always try and figure out how to crack Amazon.
Do it in ARC. Do it in ARC.
I'll do it in ARC, yeah. So if I go, well, ARC's not going to show me the paid. ARC blocks all paid stuff. So ARC doesn't show any sponsored ads. So sorry, advertising companies that are out there. I use the ARC browser specifically for that. So if I go to ARC, for example, and I go into a new tab, no. This is my experience on ARC. I'm only going to see the organic stuff. There's no brand ads. There's no sponsored product ads, anything like that. So another argument with that is, okay, if someone's on ARC, they're only going to look at, or if they have ad blockers, they're only going to look at the organic results, right? So paid stuff kind of goes out the window, and then how do you look from an organic perspective?
Yeah, but you and I are early ARC adopters here. I don't know if it's mass appeal by any point, by any means.
It should be, and that's going to cause a lot. So when ARC really gets adopted, or when other browsers kind of pick up on that and understand people like those clean experiences, where's the one place advertising is not going to die is the Amazon mobile app. Because no matter what the adaptation of, or adoption, whatever you want to call it, is of ARC, no one's ever going to go on Amazon.com in their browser on ARC on their mobile phone to shop. They're going to go to the mobile app, the Amazon app, and you cannot block any ads on the Amazon app. That's impossible on the iOS native app to do that. So my argument to that is, for PPC agencies and companies and softwares and tools like yourself, if that gets adopted in the future, where let's say that becomes a standard, let's say ARC blows up and everyone is using ARC as a default, how do you pivot? Well, then your focus is on mobile. Your focus is heavily on mobile. How do you look on mobile? How are you interacting on mobile? How are your creatives looking on mobile? Because that's the one saving grace that you have if that does get blocked.
Yeah, and there's so many other placements now with DSP as well, and kind of going in a few different areas too. But to your point, it's still going to be blocked, right?
Big fan of DSP. Like I love DSP. DSP is also very expensive for folks that don't need it, right? So and
I think you have to hit all of the sponsored ads types before you even get into DSP, right? But that should take you to around like a 25, 30K monthly ad spend.
Yeah.
And then you can start evaluating DSP and looking at it. But the cannibalization does exist. Everyone who says it doesn't it's not true.
Here's one thing. I want to show you this real quick because we're running out of time. But we talked about DSP, and I'm kind of pissed off, and I'm gonna go on a rant for a second.
It's still on the Kindle, huh?
Prime Day did not deliver on the Kindle, where Amazon, if you're watching this, shame on you. Kindles inherently have built-in lock screen ad supported. DSP has a very heavy foot with lock screens on Kindles, Fire TV, banner. But forget about that. We're talking about lock screen ad supported Kindles. Can you imagine if Amazon subsidized the price of a Kindle to get them in every single person's hand in America, and replaced books by doing this, by subsidizing the price? Take a loss on the Kindle cost itself, but you're getting a huge, massive win on the ads, right? So subsidize only the one that's ad supported, but then now you have millions of people throughout the world that are going to have ads in their faces versus a fraction of the ones that have it now.
Yeah, it makes complete sense. Right? It's the what's the price difference here? With ad supported versus
I think
without
it's
ad?
like $20. 20,
Yeah, about 20
20
bucks.
bucks. Yeah. So it's
Arguably, to kind of double
I
down on
mean,
your point here,
for me, if I'm spending $100 for another $20 for me to get the ads off, I would go for it. But if it was
exactly.
$120 for the no ads
Versus 20.
versus $40 or
Yeah.
$50 for the ad one, I'm 1,000% going with the ad one. So
Yeah.
Amazon is missing a huge. That's another LinkedIn post. Amazon's missing a huge opportunity by not subsidizing the cost of Kindles. And I thought Prime Day was going to be the day that they did it, but they did not. As typical Amazon, what they did was they gave away Echo Dots, and I think I have like 19
Yeah.
in my house, and I cannot use any more Echo Dots, Echo speakers. If I say the word Alexa in my house, everything starts beeping and going and stuff like that. So I don't know if she heard me right now. I shouldn't hear me. But I think that's a huge miss for Amazon. And will they get their act together? I don't know. Probably not, right? But something like,
But the moment they do it, they'll call it the Aspinall pricing.
yeah, right. Yeah, right. They should, and they should give me a cut of it. But what I want to end with this is showing showing click test on PickFu and how this relates to ads, because Trellis very heavily with ads and
And
PPC
price.
and price. Yeah, we're talking about ads right here. We got it. But this is a great example of what you can do on PickFu is show if you're Aqua Sana trying to steal market share from Aqua Bliss, right? Because Aqua Bliss is pretty much all the stuff down here, right? Are you doing a good enough job with your creative up here? Well, survey says you're not, because no one's really clicking over here. We got one click here, and that's it, versus all these clicks down here. So when you're running brand ads up here, this lady doesn't look too happy. She doesn't look like she's having a nice shower experience. That could be it. Maybe you need to show your entire product line. Maybe you need to show something else in your creative to get these ads, because if people do click, are they going to convert? Or if they're not clicking in the first place, that's even, I don't know what's worse, clicking and not converting or never clicking. Both are
I think both are bad. If you're not getting the conversions after the click, though, like you have intent, right, and you aren't able to capitalize on it, that kind of stings a lot more.
Yeah, but if no one
doesn't want my product,
if you throw a party and no one shows up, versus you throw a party and everyone says it sucks, I don't know. I'd probably be a little bit mad if people don't show up to my party. So I want people clicking, But it's another good thing down here is like that ad cannibalization, right? So like Aqua Bliss is number one here for paid, but they're also organically number one. And if you notice this, they're getting more clicks on their paid versus the organic, and it's the exact same item, right? So are you cannibalizing your ads by paying for a click you may have already be getting from this with organic placement? And is it maybe better practice for top slot, paid slot one, maybe pulling another Aqua Bliss product up there that needs a little bit more boost since you already have organic placement one? I mean, people will argue, no, John, if I'm organic one, I have to be paid slot one in order to keep my organic one. And what do you think of that? I don't necessarily believe that.
Yeah, I've kind of seen it go both ways here. I think that where the paid slot one is getting the benefit here as well is because you are organic one, you're getting the bestseller badge on the paid slot one too, right? And that's also helping drive the conversion right there. It's the first one, it says bestseller, and consumers are getting more and more aware of all these ad types. But fundamentally, there is an opportunity here where you can, I would actually say, depending on what keyword you search to actually get this result, right? That if I was at a lower of the funnel, middle, bottom, lower of the funnel keyword, then yeah, let's get more and higher purchase intent. But if I'm at top of the funnel and I have organic placement one, I'm not going to really target top of the funnel here because I already have that first place.
Yeah.
Right. So your advertising strategy becomes less about let me go and get as much as I can across every keyword. It's let me hit the high purchase intent people, get my product in front of them twice on that keyword with position one and ad position one as well, to increase my probabilities, increase my chances of that click. When we know that above the fold, like what, 70%, 80% of all purchases happen above the fold on the first page, right? So you really start getting into a scenario where you start thinking about, am I just wasting money on ad spend by putting it higher up, right? By playing higher in the funnel.
The search hasn't changed. Ironically, here's we want to talk about pricing. since this was they ran a promotion. So I was gonna say they raised their price, but they were running a promotion. That's why it's
They're
20.
still running it. It's just not showing as a
Because I'm
straight.
not logged in with Prime.
I'm not sure. I didn't see.
Yeah. So, but it's interesting. Aquasana still hasn't changed, even though I kind of show this to everyone and their mother. Still haven't changed their creatives. So no one's clicking. No one's really clicking on this, right? But you can see a lot of other people are coming up in the rank with this kind of stuff for some sponsor placement. But this is not really. I typed in shower head filters. This is not really a shower head filter. This is the whole entire shebang. This is the whole piece itself. You know.
And that's a bit of a targeting miss there, but
yeah, so when it comes, this is a newer one that's up and running, and they're kind of beating the price over here. So I'm curious. I want to run the PickFu again. Sometimes people like seeing that, slice open to see what's inside, what it comes with. In actuality, this is a compelling image to me. That's actually really interesting because I'd want to see, like, especially if I'm shopping for filters with hard waters and stuff like that, what that kind of looks like.
But John, you have no idea what you're looking at in that cross section.
Absolutely not. But what it's giving me is transparency. It's giving me transparency that there's something inside of there, different levels of things. And if I have no idea what these could be, like, peas or beans or something.
Yeah,
right? But the idea is that I understand what filtration is, and when I see multiple layers of something, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Versus transparency in Aqua Bliss, I don't see that, right?
Yeah.
Which I might know Aqua Bliss and might not give a rat's butt about seeing the inside of it because I know Aqua Bliss. But if I don't know any of these from Adam, then I'm going to be like, okay, this is more transparent. You can never go wrong with more transparency in any aspect of life. The more you give someone, the better buying decision, the better information they have to make that purchase.
Yeah. I would actually couple this, like seeing this image here, I would hope one of the other images are actually explaining what each one of the filters are. It'll give me a lot more confidence in the product that they're talking to me about. Because then now I'm going to say, well, what is in this filter? Right. And I'm going to start comparing this against the other ones then, because this is the one I have the most knowledge on.
Well, I do like how they do an us versus them. That's always so the big, and we'll wrap up here in a second, but I always tell people they're doing us versus them, which is good. But you notice how I said us versus them? They're putting the competitor first and then themselves over here. Psychologically, it's always us and then them. You come first on your product page, not your competition, anyone else. Because everyone reads left to right, right? So when they see this, they're going to see this first, and they may associate this being you because you're saying this versus them. It's always us versus them. So you always want to put that first. But like you said, they're not talking about individually what it is, but they do talk about the why it's doing and the benefits. Am I going to read all this stuff? Probably not. But if I go back to, we have PPC managers probably crying because I'm clicking on all these things. But see, they're doing, see, they have us. Wait, no, is this Aqua Bliss? No, see, another one, 20 states. See, another culprit doing us versus, they're putting themselves last. Doing competition first versus them, right? So 20 stage. Okay, I'm thinking this is yours, right? I don't know what 20 stage is. Is that a brand? Is that what is that, right? So this is not clear to me. What they need to be like are us over here versus typical competitor, and then showing why, right? Because this is not too clear. But again, they're saying infuses medicinal or beneficial vitamins and minerals. I mean, that's telling me a little bit more. And then chemicals, minerals, and ceramic filler. Yeah, that sucks. I don't want that. But they have to do a better job of that. Of the us.
It's actually interesting. Like, whereas they're going directly after what was the other one? The first one that you clicked on that actually like broke down all the different components there. Right. And they're just talking about, hey, our filter is better than yours. And this is why.
Shades. Oh, yeah. Actually, it's funny enough. They actually called the brand name out. So
that's shocking. I haven't seen that before.
Yeah. I've never seen them actually call out a brand like that.
Yeah. Aqua Bliss is going hard there. But I think at the end of the day, you're right. Like you always want to be looking at, as you have your content, you have your images, make sure you're kind of pushing it through. But the price point, right? Like they're consistently running a say 15% off. Say 15%, right? This one's more of a redemption now versus the other one was a strike through, right? So it's both are going to give different values, but in the others, the one that you had the screenshot of, I would click that strike through more than seeing before I read the say 15% underneath it.
Yeah, but I to your point, is this Aqua Bliss? They actually do break down what each of them is,
Yeah.
which is actually interesting.
And this and exactly what you're saying, transparency. The more informed I'm getting is then the brand that's informing me is where the bias I'll have towards it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to look at all this and say, well, does it have like zeolite now? It's like, well, it doesn't tell me it's zeolite. Okay, well, this one has zeolite, and all of a sudden I think zeolite's important.
Yeah.
Forget the other ones, right? So the more
Transparency.
you give them, right? Transparency as well. And the more you get them, like being able to get your product in front of the right in front of the audience, convert them with the right image, with the right headline, and the right price. That's ultimately the combination towards success here, and the levers that every brand's figuring out. And I know you'll help them. I know I'll help them. But between
that was me pulling the levers.
Pulling the levers. All right, all right. That's the dance move at Accelerate.
There you go. Yeah, Ali, man, it was a pleasure having you on today. Always love hearing from more gurus and goatees in the space talking about good stuff and how we can help people. I'm a big fan of education first, education value first, and then everything else kind of comes after that. So I know that we're going to link up at Accelerate and do something cool afterwards. It hasn't been released yet, but we're doing a nice little event after Accelerate for some key people. So stay tuned for that. But Ali, where can everyone go find you? What's the latest from Trellis? What can they do? Where can they go? What can they say? What can they get for free?
Take a look at gotrellis.com. If you want to book some time with me, gotrellis.com/Ali. So that's GOTRELLIS.com/ALI. Hit me up. Happy to talk through it. Happy to talk through pricing strategies. Happy to talk about profitability. And happy to talk to how your price and advertising and content all play together to get you more dollars in your pocket. And also hit me up if you want. Between John and I, we got the keys to the VIP. So we'll talk to you more about that soon. It's something will be coming up for both of us. But we're the plug. We're that guy. We're those guys.
Only if you like seafood. If you're not a fan of seafood, I don't know how that's going to parlay for you. But that's all I'm going to say. I can't say. That's it. Can't say anything else until we get the Eventbrite page out. But yeah, man, it's a pleasure having you on. Come back again. And for everyone watching, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. PickFu.com. Go there. If you like what you heard, sign up, run a test. If you have questions, we have an outstanding customer service team that's going to help you guide you through all the ins and outs that you may have to want to know about how to test, why to test, that kind of stuff. Follow us on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. I just started on LinkedIn. I'm a little new to it. So if you want to give me a follow and boost up my followers, I haven't really doubled down on it just yet. I'm just getting started.
For anyone that does follow John, that's a blatant lie. But yeah, you definitely help him out. Boost his follower count there. Get him going. Follow his content. And it's great content, to be honest. John's an exciting fellow to follow on LinkedIn. I'm trying to keep
it's where the cool kids are. So much so that I even put on my other socials, like on X and Instagram, my bio says whatever it says about me, and then it says I'm cooler on LinkedIn. And I think I'm going to put that on a shirt that says I'm cooler on LinkedIn to see how that kind of goes. But
yeah, I'd support that. I'd probably buy that shirt. I at least A/B tested and there.
Awesome. Well, again, man, thanks so much. I look forward to linking up and seeing you again in person, and we will see you guys next week.
You got it. Have a good one, everyone.